another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is episode 24 of Season 2.
This is our last episode of the season. We've actually gone a full 2 seasons.
And you managed to mess up the last episode by not telling us what episode number it was if we were counting.
Episode 46.
Okay,
if you're counting.
Thank you.
See, the one time I don't do it, you have gotten used to me saying that, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, because you did it every single time, and now you didn't do it.
Yeah, but I was kind of proud of us for a second. This is an accomplishment. We've pretty much been doing this for a year.
Just about, yeah, right?
Yeah.
When did we first do it? What time of the year was it?
It was about this time, February, March-ish.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
That was pretty sweet.
Here, I'll say it in the right order, that way you feel better about it. Or episode 46 if you're counting.
Okay, thank you.
You feel better?
I do feel a lot better.
It's an OCD thing, right?
It's really just OCD. Just as a reminder, we are being brought to you by the Southwest Animation and Gaming Expo. That's happening January 30th through February 1st of 2015, so it's less than a year away. We've got some other events coming up, hopefully on a monthly basis, that we're still trying to work out, but don't worry, they're happening, and there's still awesome deals on badges and hotel rooms right now over at swagexpo.com.
Yep, so you guys can go check that stuff out and get a head start before everybody else makes the mad dash like we normally do, because we're all lazy.
Yep. So...
what's going on?
Don't ask me. You got the notes. What's going on?
Well, I'm just asking you what's going on. You need to check notes to see how you're doing.
I have no idea what I've been doing this week.
You have no idea.
What have I been doing this week?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm not you. I don't have that information readily available. I know what I've been doing.
What have you been doing?
I finished watching Kyoryuger.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It went pretty well as far as finales for Super Sentai series go.
That's good.
I'm very surprised how well they were able to wrap everything up. Really, for me anyway, pull out the stops with what they were doing with the characters. Everybody felt like they got equal amounts of screen time. They were probably one of the more cohesive teams I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm sad that they're gone. But the times change. There's always the passing of the torch after the last episode. So coming next week, we'll have our brand new team, ToQger, and
In like 3 more days.
Yeah, pretty much come this weekend. So.
I'm excited about trains. I'm not so sure I'm excited about the Sentai team, but I am excited about.
Because I think we should clear that up. I'm more the Super Sentai fan out of the two of us. You are a fan of trains because of the amount of time you spent
on trains
using the public transit systems over there in Japan.
Yeah, and you know what? They're friggin' amazing. They blow San Antonio's via bus system out of the water, I can tell you that much.
Well, that's not... it doesn't take very much to do that.
No, but I've also been on other really bad transit systems, too. Like, I'm sorry for anybody who may live in Atlanta, but I'm afraid I wasn't a huge fan of the DART system over there. It kind of freaked me out in some places, but...
I've heard stories, so I don't think you're the only one who's ever experienced that.
I saw adorable mice. I mean, they were just the cutest. I'm not lying. It was a really cute mouse, but it was still like, oh, there's mice in this train system. Okay.
All right. I mean, you didn't try to keep it as a pet or anything, did you?
No. What was funny actually was that there was a Japanese couple sitting next to me, and they were like, Nezumi. Mouse. Yeah. And they were like kind of fawning over the thing, like, it's so cute, but we don't want to alert anybody that there's a mouse nearby.
That's a little funny.
It was really cute. It was also funny because I was there specifically to take the Japanese language proficiency test, and so it just seemed kind of ironic. But
that you got to use some translation skills in seeing this little couple huddled up in the corner. Oh. Nezumi.
So that's kind of what's going on. I guess we should talk about what topics we're going to be talking about. And see, we learned from last time that we need to tweet about what our topics are going to be before we start the show.
Yeah, I did that ahead of time.
So some of you know what we're going to be talking about, but for the rest of you, we'll go ahead and say so. So for me, there is a chance for somebody to win the opportunity to go to Skywalker Ranch and meet with George Lucas, and then go to the Nerdist and meet with Mark Hamill. And I'm going to talk more about that later.
I'm going to be talking about some comments that were made by the director of the upcoming U.S. adaptation of Akira, and what he said about the main characters and whether or not they are interesting.
And then finally, we're going to talk about this anime/game called Marvel Disc Wars, and I'm not sure what to think about it, but we'll probably work our feelings out on it as we talk about it.
There'll be something said one way or the other as to but we'll get to that.
But there's a lot of things I don't like. We will have to gauge where on the scale of things I don't like this thing falls, whether it's high on the scale of my dislike or low and more tolerable.
Because understand, with you, it's a scale of dislike. There isn't a like part of your scale.
Yeah, because once you get to the bottom of dislike, that's almost like liking something.
Well, yeah. But more often than not, it's just, no, do not want, no.
Do we have any follow-up stories?
We got a couple of follow-up
weeks?
stories. We'll start with the one that's kind of sort of relevant to you, is that today we saw the first few photos on set of the shooting in Hawaii for Jurassic World.
Oh, if you want to talk about things on my scale of dislike, well,
yeah, since we brought that up,
let's
just start with that.
Well, it looks like Jurassic Park because they're in Hawaii, so it looks like an island, a nice stormy green island, and
it looks like just some sort of.
It looks like Hawaii. I mean, it's all green and
lush, and it looks like. Which one is it? Isla Sorna was the first one?
Isla...
Or Nublar.
I think it was Nublar, wasn't it?
It's what... Those are the two islands,
Isla
right?
Nublar, right? Right? Am I wrong? Somebody will correct me.
Somebody will come up with that. But basically, as much as you don't want it, here it is.
Well, at least I don't see any CG dinosaurs on that set yet.
No. Well,
I also don't see any actors on that set. So all I see is greenery. What else is going on?
We had another follow-up. Now, I tweeted about this. Unfortunately, this information came out after the show. Otherwise, I would have totally stuck this in here. But I'll go ahead and recap. I talked previously about the Heisei versus Showa Kamen Rider War movie that's coming out just next month. Well, as a development, they've allowed for fans to go to the website, and it's superhero-battle.com, and if you go there, you can vote for which side you actually want to win, because the way this works is that Toei filmed two endings. One where the Showa, the old school writers, are the victors, and another where the Heisei, the new school current writers, are the victors. And if you go there, you can click on one side or the other. Just to make it simple, Showa, old school, is on the right, Heisei, new school, is on the left. And you can vote to see who's going to win. When I voted last week, Showa was in the lead, but currently Heisei is edging them out by just 0.4% at 50.8, and
That's
Showa...
0.8. Yeah, no, it's 0.6% difference, isn't it?
Oh, no, 6 now. Yeah, it's changed since an hour ago when I checked this thing. But for any of you fans out there, you can go ahead and post your thoughts there, too, at the bottom to which side should win and why.
Go ahead and share that link in the chat room.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that up right now.
Again, superhero-battle.com. So, and there it is.
We already voted.
Yeah, we already voted. On our computers, unless we were to delete cookies or something, we can't vote again. I'm not going to be cheap.
Yeah, I'm not going to spam votes. I voted once, and I'm fine with my vote. I'm not going to hide it. I voted Showa.
I voted Showa. Old school.
Kamen Rider Black.
Black RX.
Yep.
That sort of stuff. Was there anything else that we wanted to cover before we got down to the meat of stuff?
Not really. That was really the main stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I imagine we're going to have a lot to say about these topics we've got tonight.
That's very true. So would you like for me to go ahead and get started then?
You know what? Yeah.
Okay, so...
That's a good idea.
So I'm bringing up this picture of Mark. Man, Mark Hamill does not look very good right now.
Like,
God,
okay,
I
don't think I'm the only one to have said this. Like, it's the unfortunate thing about him, because he was a very young actor once, and now he looks more and more like Palpatine every day.
I was about to say Palpatine, right? Oh man, I hope ILM still has, has the chops to...
Well, they just opened like 3 more studios. They've got extra people on the case.
This is not part of the news. So
I think it's just as much part of the news. Well, actually, I'll relate it back, but go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, so this picture here is specifically from a video where Mark Hamill is talking about this contest that's really going toward a good cause. In fact, let me bring up the article I was looking at about it. There's this group called Omaze, and it's apparently in beta right now, and it seems to be a way to fund really good causes, good projects, just a way of doing it online, as well as being something of a contest. In the case of this particular contest, it's a visit Skywalker Ranch and meet George Lucas. That's the way they're billing it. And all the money you donate goes directly to benefit Make-A-Wish, which is absolutely great. So there's tons of things, like you're looking at it right now, tons of things that you can enter for. You can have one $10 entry, which just makes you a supporter.
Makes you eligible for this prize.
Yeah, it gives you one drawing, because it's going to be a drawing. Or you can submit 5 entries for $8 each, and you'll get, like, an e-card sent by Mark Hamill. Like, yay.
That's kind of cool.
That's a little cool. 10 plus for $7 each, and you notice the price goes down with each one, so I'm not going to name each thing. You can be an ambassador and get a fan club poster. Next at 15 is, go back up, what was it? It was shirts. And
a thank you video from Mark Hamill.
And there's boxes of lightsabers, and there's autographed shirts and lightsabers, and then, like, you can enter with 2,000 entries for $5 each. That's $10,000. One autographed full-size Darth Vader statue thing, and be a VIP guest at the taping of Nerdist Live, of which only 10 of these exist. So somehow they made 10 of these giant life-size Darth Vader things. So really, but what you're really in it for, aside from doing a good thing for a Make-A-Wish, is you and a guest of your choice could be in this drawing to go to Skywalker Ranch, meet George Lucas, yes. Then you would later go to the Nerdist, production headquarters and meet with Mark Hamill. Quite frankly...
And the whole time, you would be accompanied by Chris Hardwick, the host of the Nerdist and host of At Midnight.
Quite frankly, I would sooner like to meet Mark Hamill than I would George Lucas. I know that sounds terrible.
Well, no, we all have our favorites that we want to meet.
Because, like, let me put it this way. Yeah, I've got a problem with stuff that George Lucas has done with, say, the prequels and the special editions. However,
where does that rank up on your list of,
somewhere...
like, dislike?
It's somewhere near Jurassic World and, changing, E.T. to also have CG in it and to remove guns and replace them with walkie-talkies.
So that's pretty high then.
Yeah, it's fairly high. However, it's not like I can't... Like, you look at him and you go, well, you know what? You made Star Wars to begin with. So, I give you that much credit, George. I would love to see Skywalker Ranch, but get toured around by Mark Hamill instead, though. That is what I would prefer.
Now, and this has nothing to do with the fact that you love Mark Hamill as the Joker. Come on, out with it. Come on.
Yeah, I love his Joker.
All right,
but I also love Mark Hamill because he's also able to make fun of himself in so much media. He's really a fun kind of person.
Well,
really
yeah,
is.
he's actually quite, knowledgeable and a writer. He did the really I read the Black Pearl, the
He's been wanting to make that
into
a
a
movie
for the
years,
longest time.
Years and
and
years. I would love to see it.
I would love to see it too. Like if they're getting Assassin's Creed off the ground, this is kind of in that same time frame. I guess I should specify with around the current one, Black Flag. I mean, I know they're going back to the beginning, but pirate-ish sort of things sell, so he could probably still bill it as such and get it made.
So
now,
the reason why I'm using this picture of Mark Hamill here actually is because from that video he's attached this advertisement for this Enter to Win thing.
Now, you brought up earlier about the ILM thing. Think about it. He is.
I was describing what was in that video.
Okay, go ahead.
So in those fan moments, like he's talking about these different fan moments that he thought were really cool, and I guess they're his personal pick. Like some of them were like, oh, and this was the coolest fan made like panorama of the Hoth battle, and this is my favorite lightsaber battle. And then he picks one and he's like, and then just randomly, there's this guy. And it's a guy on a unicycle, and he's juggling, and he's wearing a Darth Vader helmet, and then, no, he's playing the bagpipes while he's on this unicycle, and then out of nowhere, the back of the bagpipes spout fire.
That's pretty hardcore.
And then
flaming bagpipes.
And then he just plugged this Ome's benefiting Make-A-Wish thing. So that's what this picture that is up here is all about.
Now, like I was saying, you brought up ILM earlier and his looks. Now, I remind you, he is in Episode 7, and they have been working with him, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher. Mm-hmm. Whoever goes to this thing will be the first person to see what he looks like closest enough to filming.
Oh, that's true.
And we can see whether or not...
Well, it doesn't say when this is going to happen, does it? I'm not really sure if it actually specifies.
I don't believe that it does.
Oh, here we go. The Skywalker Ranch meeting will happen on February 21st. So like, really, that's soon.
That's a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, the Mark Hamill meeting at the Nerdist will happen the following day, or on a mutually convenient date.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Also, just so you guys know, this particular contest ends February 14th, so tomorrow. There's like a day and a half, maybe less than a day and a half to go. It ends at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time.
So for you nerdy guys and nerdy girls out there want to get something for your significant other, hey, guess what?
How about Mark Hamill?
How about Chris Hardwick?
Eh.
Well, whatever your taste is.
Well, hopefully it wouldn't be George Lucas, because...
Who wants George Lucas for Valentine's Day?
Okay, somebody wants George Lucas for Valentine's Day. I don't particularly want him, though. I would like Skywalker Ranch, though.
No, admittedly, like, you think about it. This was the plot of fanboys.
The movie fanboys, yeah.
Trying to get into Skywalker Ranch, trying to
see Episode 1 before everybody else.
And now... here's the chance to tour Skywalker Ranch, and you get to see probably stuff about Episode 7 before everyone else.
Oh, that's entirely possible.
Well, yeah.
But if you think about it, though, because now the movie's not coming out until December of next year, right?
That's not to say that they haven't still been working on it this whole time.
Oh, of course they have been.
So who's to say you wouldn't be privy to some awesome secret?
Well, okay... maybe it would be alright to meet George Lucas because, his neck meats have got to be good luck, okay?
What?
They're always after me lucky neck meats. I'm sorry. My one and only really particularly favorite episode of Invader Zim. It involves Chickenfoot.
Yeah.
And he goes after the wrong dude, not the dude in the chicken suit. He ends up going after some other guy who has... just a lot of neck meats.
Yeah.
And he goes, they're always after me lucky neck meats. And grabs his load of neck rolls and just...
Yeah. Now, admittedly, looking at this picture of George Lucas on the website...
he's not very neck meaty in that picture.
And I don't know if we put that up here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. That way you guys can take a look and see if you want to enter.
Yeah, it's omaze.com/experience/Star Wars, which in fact I think you can hack it down to just omaze.com/Star Wars, and I think it takes you there anyway. But yeah, that's actually not a terrible photo of George Lucas. Which probably means that ILM had their way with the photo.
Exactly. ILM will do whatever they want. ILM will put your head on top of a battle droid and make it dance if they want to, because they've got that kind of technology and they've got that kind of time.
And they have that kind of money.
Giraffe money.
Giraffe money. They can make you a giraffe.
Yes. Well, like what, the giraffe from Madagascar?
No, because that's DreamWorks.
Oh,
not
yeah,
Disney.
you're right. You're right.
No.
DreamWorks isn't quite giraffe money. It's like, well, no, it's DreamWorks, so I guess it's panda money.
Kung Fu Bear.
Yeah, Karate Bear.
Karate Bear.
That's what you meant to say.
That's what I always call him, Karate Bear. I don't think I have too terribly much more to elaborate about this, although I should say, once again, as all of these things that you can be winning are quite cool, the cool thing is that it's going toward Make-A-Wish.
Oh,
and
yeah.
remember, Make-A-Wish made Bat Kid's
Kid.
dreams come true, okay? They can make Bat Kid's dream come true. Like, especially imagine the money that they can use with Star Wars fans. Like,
Yeah.
how much money are they gonna rack up? They're gonna rack up a lot of money.
Well, yeah, because Star Wars fans have disposable income. That's how you can have something like the Star Wars Celebration, where I don't know how much money gets poured in to this event. People who want, oh my god, I need a Jabba the Hutt cookie bag holder thing.
It also makes Jabba laughing noises every time you open it.
Like, hey, I'm gonna go get a cookie.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Lift it up. Bantha Poodoo. Ho, 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 ho.
Do they sell that? Somebody find out if they sell
If
that.
they sell a Jabba the Hutt cookie jar that also makes Jabba noises, I doubt it. But
if they don't, it
should
needs
make
to be
it.
made, and it needs to be put up on ThinkGeek, because some people have birthdays this year. Just saying.
This year. Maybe not next year, or maybe not last year, but definitely this year.
Definitely this year. I'm just looking at the immediate future as far as it relates to Jabba the Hutt cookie jars.
Okay, well, I think I'm done with the topic. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure Make-A-Wish got plugged one more time.
Yeah, make a wish.
So, what else are we talking about? Because I don't remember.
Okay, so next up on the chopping block here is the comments that were made by director Jean Collet-Serra.
It's the picture that I did not manage to pull in before the show, but it's in relation to Akira. Maybe I can bring it in while we're live.
Yeah, this is the technological expertise of Kalen here in
Can
action.
you just talk?
Okay, so as many of you might know, Akira is still slated to have an American adaptation, film adaptation over here at some point in the future. And the director, who is currently directing the Liam Neeson movie Nonstop, will be directing this movie. And earlier this week, an interview was made public where he was talking about his plans for the movie, for what he saw for these characters that a lot of us know and have grown up with. And he kind of said some stuff that was a little disheartening.
Uh-huh.
And I'll go ahead and quote directly from the disheartening part. He was asked a question about what he hopes to bring to the movie as far as these characters go. And his quote, "Nobody's interesting. Tetsuo is interesting because weird stuff happens to him, and Kaneda is so two-dimensional. That's part of the Japanese culture. They never have strong characters. They're used as a way to move the other philosophy forward."
I so highly disagree with that. I cannot even begin.
Now the weird part about this is that earlier in the interview, he talks about how much he loves Akira. He says he has to be
And
respectful.
he wants to stay respectful and true to the source material. Then he's talking about, oh, and there was a big difference between the manga and the movie. So, one, I want to know which source material he's referring to, the movie or the comic. And then secondly, if he even knows about the manga at all, then he would know that Akira is friggin' huge. Okay, it's massive. That there is story. Endless endless story to be told in the series, okay?
Now, the thing about it is, like, for most people who haven't had the chance yet, if you've seen Akira but you've never read the manga, go find the manga. It's 6 really thick volumes, but it's worth it. You get so much expanded upon that, 2 hours in a movie theater or on a DVD just can't cover. And it develops these characters to such a point that, you see, oh yeah, this definitely deserves an adaptation. And even in that movie, which is now, 25th anniversary this year? I believe
1985 or 86?
Or is it 30th?
84?
Well, it's an anniversary year. Point being, even in the movie, you can see how much depth there is to these characters and the way it was created and put out there. So I have no idea where this guy's coming from.
Like, think about the biker gang at all. You get... Because they're talking about... He talks about in this interview how much everybody fell in love with the world of Akira. Right. And I think that's really important to also understand the characters in Akira. Because you see the biker gang of, these teenage kids. And so you start to understand, like, when they go to school, their school's all screwed up. So it's like, oh, no wonder they came out the way that they did.
Right.
Okay, it's the 25th anniversary. Last year was the 25th anniversary. You see how Tetsuo is very much, he's only so good at a lot of things. He gets really frustrated that he's only so good at a lot of things. That he couldn't help his girlfriend when she was getting the crap beaten out of her. He hates being the second
banana. He doesn't like that he's not, because he looks up to Kaneda. He sees him as, oh, I wish I could be him. I wish I had his bike. I wish I could be more like him. And then once he actually gets some power and the chance to pull forward, it consumes him.
Mm-hmm.
And that much is shown visually. And simplifying him, the director says to just, oh, he's interesting because stuff happens to him, completely robs him of his character and belittles his story arc. Because that's something anybody can relate to.
And as of Kaneda, he's doing a lot of things with his friends in mind. Like, he's not a perfect kid by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no.
But he's got loyalty to his friends, even to Tetsuo. Like, hey, they took my friend. What do I have to do? You see him, like, go after this girl, Kay, because he thinks, oh, she's cute. And then when it turns out that she has something to do or knows something about what may have happened to Tetsuo, then there's, like, this whole extra level of, like you see him really step his game up. You see just how far he is willing to go, not just for a pretty face, but for his friend, to find his friend, to help his friend.
I mean, even more so, after he gets the powers of Akira, you see, he never for a second says, you know what, let's let the military handle this, let's let the shady organization handle this. No, he takes it upon himself. I'm going to go save my friend, I'm going to go stop my friend, and that drives him for the rest of the movie. You can call that one note if you want, I call that good character development. Now, that nothing stops him.
I kind of wonder, because he's like, oh, the characters are just written to move their intellectual concepts along, because the Japanese can only seem to think in these big, grand intellectual concepts. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, that concept of what Akira really is like so far removed from the character development of these other characters, because, like, the guy interviewing him says, yeah, we don't even see the character whose namesake the movie is until, like, the tail end of the movie.
And even then, it's always in flashbacks.
And then when you do finally find him, I mean, I don't know if this is considering the movie's 25 years old or not.
Yeah.
The kid's a bunch of jars.
Right.
Because he was a big old test subject.
He was harvested.
So, it's, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, the point of Akira, there is a bigger, higher concept there, and you kind of realize that everybody else's lives, in the grand scheme of things, as much as you grow attached to these people, it's like, do they or do they not actually matter?
Right.
When there is some higher intellectual thing going on. That's how it twists it around on you by the end of the movie. Like, all of these things you thought you knew, they might not even matter. So, I don't know what this guy's beef is. I would hate to see this come out to be something way cheaper than, like,
Or-
to really
or-
cheapen the
or to the-
storytelling.
To the other effect of that, to the other side, if it wasn't really cheap, if he overthought it. Because when you overthink characters that don't need overthinking, that's how you get freaking Ang Lee's Hulk. When the characters are too cerebral, they've got too much going on, and it detracts from the fact that, hey, they're doing all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because when you get too much in their heads, then you're not in the world.
That's
this
true.
visual world that's supposed to be displayed. And he mentions as much in the interview that you have to, when you're making a movie, you have to tell 4 different kinds of movies in one sometimes, and you have to find the essence of what you're doing in there. Because the problem with the movie that a lot of people have had for a while, and not so much the movie itself, but an adaptation of it, is the spin any one director could put on it. Because one director can see it and say, oh, well, there are bikes in this, let's make it like Fast and the Furious. Or somebody could see it, that other way, very cerebral, like
very philosophical.
Very philosophical,
because
yes.
there is a philosophy that comes with the story that gets told.
But it's getting that mix just right, I believe, the way the original movie did, where you were able to get all of this stuff across 25 years ago, before the advent of being able to use computers the way we do now to do animation. Like, we were just at MagFest this past January, and there was a guy there with an exhibit of just breaking down the art of Akira for hours and seeing all the work that went into making this masterpiece.
Now, I couldn't sit there for all the 6 hours he was analyzing every single last little frame, but you could see how passionate and how devoted this guy was to every single last amount of detail, including the stuff that you can't even actually see when you're looking at the movie. And to me, I respected that, because it did make me see, man, look at the amount of work that they had to do just to make this thing come into existence. It's amazing. And this guy's passion for it was really amazing to me, too.
And you look at it, that's the kind of passion you want a director to have for the material. Is that, oh, I've gone into every little nuance. I know what makes this thing tick frontwards and backwards, and I'm going to apply that not to just the visuals, but to the characters.
Because if you're gonna insult the way that the thing is written, and then claim that you're also trying to stay faithful to the source material, then if you're gonna give a slap in the face to Japanese culture and the way they do storytelling, now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't want this guy directing it anymore.
Because he makes that absolute statement. That's part of the Japanese culture. They never have strong characters.
Bull crap. He blanket statemented the entire country of Japan and their storytelling techniques.
Dude, let me explain you
ridiculous.
a thing. Let me explain you a thing. Can we talk anime in general? Can we talk films? Can we talk Kurosawa? Can we talk about any number of other titles that your butt could be adapting, that you could say you're a fan of, and you might say, oh, I know this, but this sucks. And we can tell you don't really know this. This isn't a passion for you. Because there are people out there, like the guy we just talked about, who are passionate about making this stuff. There's any number of people who are passionate about making fan films of Akira. There have been a couple on YouTube, too.
Yeah.
And people want this thing to be done right. It's not that people don't want to see it. They just don't want to see an imperfect product. That's why people, heck, even this week, can get angry over the RoboCop remake. Because if you're going to do it, and even then, the director there could say, oh, I'm being faithful to the source material, but at the same time, we're going to put our own spin on it. And even then, you can go to Rotten Tomatoes and see how people are responding to it. Like, yeah, I see what you're going to do, but I still like the original better. What do you want to do? Do you want to make a movie that makes money? Or do you want something that people can say, hey, I just saw the anime, and I'm proud to say, let's go watch this?
Right, exactly.
That's what you want out of this movie. Because it's not to be handled with kid gloves, but at the same time, you don't always have to have a microscope on it.
So, would you say that Chronicle was the better adaptation of Akira than what we're seeing coming?
Well, let's get that clear right here, right now. I fully believe, knowingly, that the people who made Chronicle knew they were pretty much pulling Akira and making an adaptation of it right there. I'm saying that right now. And if you haven't seen Chronicle, go see Chronicle, and you come back and tell me that wasn't American Akira.
Yeah, and I really don't think it was a terrible movie.
No, that's
either.
the thing. It wasn't a bad movie. But you notice though, when Chronicle came out, that was around the exact time that the plans for Akira a couple of years ago were pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously enough, they were too close to each other, and they pretty much got it right. The characterizations between the two main characters
seem pretty identical
to Kandida and Tetsuo. The only major difference was there were no motorcycles, and Kandida's character had power too. I mean, sorry for spoilers for Chronicle, but that was pretty much it.
And you know what? Their characterization, let's talk about how they were characterized for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Was quite good. You can see how they were interacting with one another. Heck, what was the name of basically the Tetsuo character? The kid who really got his powers and got power hungry.
Well, I forget the character name, but he was played by Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, he was clearly the character that was like just a step behind everybody else the whole movie.
Just like Tetsuo.
And then he got his powers and he realized, I could be so much bigger and so much better. Now I can do whatever I want. And now I don't have to be the little guy and you don't have to come in. You don't have to protect me. It was perfect. And the characterization was almost directly lifted, and
even the arc too, yeah.
And they're good characters.
Yeah.
So if this guy is sitting here having the audacity to say that it can't be done with the way that those characters were written, guess what? It's already been done, you jackass.
Yeah. No, that I get you saying that. I get that completely. And yeah, it's hard to believe that he would say something like that.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody else clearly saw the respect for it and was like, you know what, here it is. You know, Josh Trank, who wrote it, was like, I don't blame him for having done it. He probably thought to himself, you know what? I don't believe they're going to get Akira off the ground. Let me just kind of mask it this way and put it out like that. And you know what? People ate it up. People went to go see that. Yeah, we liked it.
I liked it.
I mean, we saw
it was kind of like, you were trying to be Akira. And like, we came out going, you think sly.
You thought you were slick, but I see you. I give you credit, but I see what you did there. So this guy, this director, I don't know what he's going to do with it. We still don't have a release date. There's still unconfirmed reports of who's still attached, whether or not Garrett Hedlund will still be the lead as Kandida or anything of that nature. It remains to be seen. I just hope that when this thing gets off the ground, because I still fully believe that they're going to do it. I don't believe for a second that they won't let this be put out there. Really what I'm getting at is nobody wants another case of Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, boy.
And we don't want Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah.
We want something that's faithful. We want something that's real and gives these characters their due.
Even if it has to be placed in New York. Even if you
I can get over that.
Even if you have to change them to more anglicized names. Like, that's all kind of crappy, but if you're telling the same basic story, if you have the same, which I believe to be rich characters,
right,
going through the same kind of story arc, if you just get that meat correct, then I can deal with it.
Right.
That's why I for a long time I didn't much care whether or not anime got like anglicized names of characters. So long as they kept the story, like, that's what I really care about. So long as they can do that. Now, I'm not so sure that they will, but
yeah.
That's how I
still a little worried, but again, we'll have to see. I'm just not feeling very confident after this guy's comments.
Right. So, for our final story, let me get away from this Akira poster, and we're going to bring up this Marvel Disc Wars, the Avengers. There's the Japanese logo, and actually here in a second I'm going to play the trailer minus the sound. But, so, here's what this thing is. Okay, whatever it is, it's coming out in April, right?
April 2nd on TV Tokyo.
It's got an anime, and it's also, I don't know if you would call it a tabletop game, perhaps a floor game, but it's
a game of some sort. It's got collectible pieces.
So,
and,
so here's what I first saw, right? So I know I've only flashed this logo up here for just a second.
We'll translate the logo for people who can't read katakana here.
Like I just said, it's Marvel Disc Wars The Avengers.
Disc Wars Avengers.
Disc Wars Avengers.
Okay.
So, bringing up the trailer, you'll see in a second, like, the first thing you see is, like, a bunch of children, right?
Right.
Well, you see, like, heroes attached to these kids. I might have to re-import the trailer, actually. But to get across what you see are these kids attached to these superheroes, and at first I'm sitting here going, so wait, does this kid become Iron Man? Like, you look like this really douchey little kid. I really would rather you not become Iron Man. And then there's these other kids who are, like, attached to... Who else? There was Wasp.
Yeah, Wasp, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, and not really pictured with a kid is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, this project was announced a couple of months back that they were doing this anime, this Marvel Disc Wars. And there had been some mention of the kids, but we didn't know exactly what that meant. Now we know. It's actually to tie into this game. And now that we've got the video up and running, you'll see in a second.
Yeah, so you see... And here's these discs, right? And these discs are not particularly round. They're more like guitar picks, really. Yay,
yeah, they're
Iron
guitar...
Man! And then, like, hey, what's up with this kid? Oh, hey, I know you.
Thor, what are you doing with that kid?
And I'm just sitting here going, these kids don't, like, become these heroes, right? And then it turned out, no, I was wrong. That's not what happens at all. Then these kids, you'll see in a second, they throw these discs for some reason as though they're Pokeballs, right?
Uh-huh.
And then pop! Out pops their superhero. And I'm like, did you just summon this Marvel hero?
I just summoned Iron Man in attack mode.
I'm not so sure how I feel about that.
Well, see, because me saying that isn't actually that far off with what they're trying to do with this thing. Because the guitar picks that you see here are the actual physical product that they want kids to buy. And it's pretty much played in a fashion that's not all that dissimilar from the Pogs of yesteryear. And you can see them here on the screen. They're these little plastic... guitar picks, and you'll see here in the video what they end up doing is that they've got the character on them in the center of the disc.
They have stats also around the bottom of the disc, like...
And status effects, too.
Yeah, stats and status effects. So, like, if you have, like, this level 2 Iron Man, you can throw him twice or something like that. And the point is... You've got them defended right here. You see them lying down. I think it's like four face down discs. And the point is to try and flip those discs, and then you keep them for yourselves, much like a stack of Pogs in an old-fashioned Pog game. But sometimes you throw the disc down, and it flips over, and then it's like, haha, you've activated my trap! And then it gets to flip back down, or you get to, like, not throw your disc.
Like, they end up demonstrating here in the video, like, if you slam your hero down on the disc and say it's, in specific, Captain America, because he's got a shield, it's like, ha, I've got my shield, that means you can't take me. And then you have to flip the Captain America one back over because he can't be taken because he has a shield, and that's how that works. And it's very interesting to see, like, don't get me wrong, as popular as the Avengers were over here, they're equally as popular over in Japan. They ate up the movie, loved it. And so basically what this is for Japan, for the Japanese people and their kids, the Avengers are back in Pog form.
Yeah, I thought that's where you were going with that. Okay.
And the sad thing about it is they're going to buy it. They're going to be going out there and getting these little... barely like 5 cents worth of plastic discs that they're probably going to be charging like $10 for. And then they're going to be slamming them onto the ground. What
like,
worries me...
These kids don't actually seem that enthusiastic about it.
What worries me about all of this, and it's the same thing that happens to Star Wars, the kidification of Star Wars. Yeah, Avengers stuff, you know, we've got Avengers Assemble right now on Disney XD, and before that we had Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And since we've got, Avengers 2 coming out eventually, what I'm worried about is kind of like what they did with
it looks like you can switch out the character that's in the face of the disc. Okay, anyway, keep going.
What I'm worried about is that since most of the Marvel animes got brought over here and dubbed, like Iron Man, X-Men,
you're saying
Blade,
they're gonna dub this,
bring it over here,
and then sell the game here too.
Yeah, but what I'm more worried about isn't so much that. They're free to do that. They're totally
So that was the trailer.
Free to do that. The problem I see is just kind of and bear with me on this. The same thing that happens with My Little Pony is that if we have grown men getting these discs and being like, ugh! Don't be bringing that weak stuff! Oh, I got Hulk! What you know about Hulk? And trying to have these tournaments with, I got the yellow one. Well, don't be bringing that weak stuff! I got Iron Man!
He's a level 2! Oh, yeah!
And, ruining it? That worries me a little bit. Because
it's definitely a children's game. For certain.
Over... One, if it gets brought over here, and then that aspect gets brought to it. But again, two, you think about it, why would a kid summon Iron Man? Iron Man's his own guy, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, as he says, and now he's in a little disc. And then on top of that, why the hate for Peter Parker? How come he doesn't have a kid? Everybody else got a kid. How come Peter Parker doesn't have a kid?
Well, it's just like Link. He's the one little elf boy who didn't have a fairy until one day he got a fairy of his own, and he'll get one.
And then you wonder, what if that happens in the show too? Spider-Man's like, oh, I wish I had a kid, and then some kid comes along I'll play with you, Spider-Man, and then they're all happy and then beating up the other Avengers or something.
So wait, who are the villains gonna be in this anime?
See, that's the thing. Nobody's mentioned that. And the only thing I can assume is the same old, heroes fighting heroes. But yeah, as far as those
heroes,
anime go...
you see them summoning them, do the heroes know what they're doing? Do they care?
Or
are they just, astral projections out of these little plastic discs? What? Do they know what's happening in the world around them? Do they get to walk around with their kids?
Or are those little guitar picks like Pokeballs? When they go back inside, if they go back inside at all, is their own world in there? Spider-Man doesn't want to fight; he wants to go back in the pit because Mary Jane's in there.
I don't know. When he comes out, is all he says just Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man,
Hulk. Hulk!
I think we're maybe taking this too far. I don't know.
I'm just saying, they have, the only information they've given us is a few shots of animation and then a commercial for toys. So what am I to think? I have no choice but to speculate on what the Japanese think the Avengers do.
Well, because as it is, clearly... they have twisted what the Avengers are into something that is marketable for Japan. Let's get this straight. This is the kind of thing that the Japanese find particularly entertaining.
Right, because you just...
teaming up, being buddies,
yeah, and
doing things like, I'm gonna fight with my friends, and then lots of collectible game stuff. And so this is clearly marketed for a Japanese audience, because I don't think we would have made something like this.
When you look at it, that's the difference between Marvel Disc Wars Avengers and Avengers Assemble over here. Avengers Assemble is designed with the mindset of, we've got to set these kids up to want to go see Avengers 2. That's why we're sticking in Falcon. That's why the animation's a little softer. That's why we're doing it this way. And then for the Japanese, it's well, we don't have a movie for them to show. We have to wait for you guys to put out yours. So in the meantime, we need them to buy stuff. We need their parents to go out and buy stuff, so we make this game up.
Okay, so, I'm totally convinced that they're going to bring the anime and the game over here, even though they haven't specifically said so, but, why wouldn't they? Because it's our American property, and just, why not? So, how quickly do you think they would bring it over here if it's coming out, April 2nd over there?
By next year.
Because
you need the anime to run, you need the at least the molds to get made. I mean, I guess they already are.
It'd totally get on Cartoon Network. Like,
Well, no, it'd go to Disney.
Nick?
Disney. Because Disney Marvel.
Well, yeah, okay.
It would go there and show there, and it would line up perfectly with the release of the next movie.
That's true.
It could be turned over within a year. I would say within a year. That would be my prediction right there.
That's smart.
Well, yeah, because it writes itself. You know, kids over here buy enough Avengers stuff as it is. I mean, there's plenty of Captain America stuff right now over at Target and Toys R Us. What's to say putting these things next to them that they won't get sold?
That's
of course
true.
they will, because what does it do for Disney? Create
giraffe money?
Giraffe money. There you go. It's all about that giraffe money. Maybe next season we should sell like Cafe Press giraffe money shirts.
Maybe. We'll come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe we should make our own guitar picks with our own faces and stats, and we'll throw them at the Avengers, and then we'll totally have better stats than all of them, and we'll win every single time.
You mean like people making their own custom Magic cards and Yu-Gi-Oh
Well, think
cards?
about it. You saw in the video, I took the Iron Man out of this guitar pick and I replaced him with Thor. You just stick our own faces up in there.
Well, then you could do that with just about anything.
In fact, you could probably, like, all you need are the basic core little picks, and then you could bootleg the entire game. The entire
So
game.
now
Almost way easier than bootlegging Yu-Gi-Oh cards, right?
You could much easier. You're saying develop a whole different game.
I'm saying we need to make an underground bootleg Disc Wars right now. We need to get on it so that
it's so
we
ridiculously
need to get on it.
easy.
I need to translate it
Oh
right
my God.
now so that I can bootleg
Do
it
you
before the
understand-
English adaptation comes out.
Do you
I am
understand what
on
you've
this,
just
guys.
created?
I am on this.
Because this would basically turn into Tumblr, the physical game. Like, I play, like, based off if you've got a regular one. I just played Thor. Oh yeah? Well, I played Sherlock.
Oh yeah, well I played feminism.
Oh yeah? Well, I played Doctor Who and feminism.
I just took all of your little discs.
You know what? I played Cat Video. Oh yeah? Well, I play Nutella in defense mode. It could be anything. People would make up the rules, there would be tournaments, and then you would get that guy throwing down hard. Oh! I just played the Hulk! And swag in defense mode. Good lord, what have we created now? See, look, there's people here in the chat like a to-go version of it. People would do it now.
Because all you have to do is replace the little face inside the little pick.
And then change out what the status
easy.
effect is.
Yeah, and change out the stats. Because people, as it is, already, like, make their own homebrew card games. Like, you just replace... There's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Template out there, and you just replace the picture and type in the stats and stuff. But this would be so easy because you can actually put it directly in the disc.
So now, basically within 2 months when this premieres, that's for sure when these toys are going to be on sale. You're going to see people now, based off this, and now I'm getting afraid, people will go ahead and buy these things, import them from Japan, off Amazon and what have you, and then at the next convention you go to, somebody will have a guitar pick with, like, your face, or Linkara, or Doug in there. Like, please sign this. Oh my god, what have we done? And this is how season 2 ends. Not with a bang, but with a shudder and a facepalm.
And, I threw the Hulk!
I threw the Hulk. Okay.
I think we need to stop.
Yeah, we've gone too far now. Alright, so...
So I want to thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us tonight, for this whole past season. If you've been with us the last 2 seasons, man, I can't even believe I'm saying that we've done this for 2 seasons.
Or even a whole year for that matter.
Yeah.
It means a lot to us that you guys have been listening and commenting back on Twitter and Tumblr and things like that. So really, we appreciate you guys coming out.
So remember, next season, we're going to be doing this live every week. Every week will probably be about this time every week, too. Like 8 p.m. on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Granted, that's if nobody's other outside schedule changes. And if any changes do come up, of course, we're going to alert you guys to said fact. But I
And
look
then-
forward to being able to talk to you guys, like, in a more one-on-one sort of
And we'll be
real
doing that
time.
right now after we're done recording. We will, of course, stick around here in the chat and answer you guys if you have any questions for us, comments, things you want to bring up.
Alright, I guess that's it for Season 2, and we'll let you guys know when Season 3 gets going. It'll probably be in 2+ weeks. So, I hate to leave you guys hanging for a couple of weeks, but don't worry, we're not gone. We will be back, and we will see you
We're just gonna
Season
recharge our
3.
beast batteries.
with Season 3, and it'll be episode, 47?
Episode 47, and I will be counting.
I'm sure you will be. Alright, so for those of you here on Twitch, we're going to be talking to you for just a few more minutes, but for you guys on YouTube, go ahead and, again, follow us on Twitter so that you can know when we're going to be doing broadcasting and such. And again, I'm at MarsGirlProd.
And I'm at Josh Knight First.
And that's it for Season 2 of Beyond the Black Rims. Thank you very much, you guys.
All right, take care.